Check this out. I know you have always dreamed of performing in Carnegie Hall. So I think this 2023 to 2024 season at Sound Espressivo will be perfect for you. As a platform, we host live online auditions so you can share your music with the entire world. Then we send you to incredible in-person venues like Carnegie Hall so you can perform solo, as a duo, as an ensemble, and with orchestra. This year we have a total of 4 gala events at Carnegie Hall, as well as 4 different opportunities to perform with orchestras in the US, in the Czech Republic, and even in Egypt. We want to help you fulfill your musical dreams. Go to soundespressivocompetition.com to check out our season and to apply. Hello and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music programs. Thank you for joining us today. We have a really exciting show for everybody. This is session 2 of our Carnegie and colORCHESTRA Auditions Finals. And we are really proud to be dedicated to bringing live performances and events from international artists delivered to audiences around the globe. Hello and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Au and I'll be your host for today's show. This is really exciting. We are in session 2 with the Carnegie and colORCHESTRA Audition Finals. We are presenting these wonderful musicians who are auditioning for an opportunity to perform at the Weill Recital Hall at Carnegie Hall in gala concerts in New York City. Very exciting, as well as the colORCHESTRA seasons for performing with orchestras worldwide. We have such an array of incredible orchestras and winners will be able to perform concerti with them. And this is just a really wonderful opportunity for young and budding musicians to get that experience working with orchestras. Auditionees from many countries are seeking guidance and support from the judges as well, who are live at the moment and will be giving live feedback after each performance. And I think that's a really valuable part of our program, because live feedback right after you perform really provides insight and it's fresh in the judge's mind, and you get a really fresh experience of what they felt about their performance, and as well as the feedback you get is immediate. So I really love that. Carnegie Hall and the colORCHESTRA Worldwide Auditions are organized by some really incredible organizations. We have ArtistVenture, Sound Espressivo, Progressive Musicians, and Virtual Concert Halls in collaboration with Prize Attractions, Vocal Arts Management, and the Cicerone Music and Arts. So let me tell you a little bit about each organization very quickly, because these are crucial not only as part of what we are presenting, but also in giving opportunities to young musicians and music lovers out there to enjoy more of our programs. The Virtual Concert Hall is an internet TV broadcaster, providing artists with a virtual stage and ability to reach audiences beyond the walls of conventional concert halls. And we stream live, and if you ever want to check out our programs, the website is just down there for you to have a look at. ArtistVenture organizes events and tours all over the world. Progressive Musicians is an organizer of many competitions and concerts at prestigious venues like Carnegie Hall. Prize Attractions is an artist advocate management company providing many opportunities for artists around the world. Vocal Arts Management focuses on casting singers for operas, so we're really inclusive this way in trying to get as many different kind of musicians as possible on the big stages. And last but definitely not least, Cicerone Music and Arts is a boutique publisher in Switzerland, Italy. We are all so proud as part of Sound Espressivo Global Competition to live stream this competition, and our goal really is to combine the live audition process where you can audition at home and it's live streamed all over the world, but also we want to give you in-person venues to perform at. And I think this is a really exciting part of our 21st century, post-pandemic, being able to combine these two things and giving musicians out there an opportunity to perform live for judges as well as perform live in person in amazing venues around the world. And this is how we started.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.
Not only are we spreading our reach all over the world, in concerts, physical concerts, but we also stream on many different platforms. So if you're watching, wherever you're watching, please hit subscribe, follow us, give us a like, and if you want, please comment. We have some really incredible musicians who are performing, and the amazing benefit of being able to do this online is that you can comment, and we'll show these comments so that musicians around the world can see them, but also receive your amazing feedback and criticism, perhaps. And so please engage with us. This allows us to know which platforms to do more work with, or what you may like or what you may enjoy. We're really excited that this year we've had so many amazing performances. So Carnegie Hall, different co-orchestra performances all around the world has been really, really wonderful. And I want to show everybody that there are no restrictions to how many auditions people can take. You can always continue to apply, and these opportunities apply for every stage of development and every aspiration that you may have. There are people who wish to play with orchestras and get that soloist experience. There are people who want to play the big stage. There are composers we've had who want to have their works premiered. We've had singers who want to sing on the big stage. It's just something, there's something for everybody. And this is a little video on showing you what we've done this far and a little glimpse of what we have in the future.
Performed on our gala at Carnegie Hall. Auditions for the 2024-2025 season will be happening soon. We have opportunities for composers to have their works premiered and professionally recorded with the Leonard String Quartet, opportunities to perform a concerto with the New York Chamber Players and Orchestra Manhattan. Composers may also submit their scores to be premiered by these two fabulous orchestras. Solo opportunities, chamber music opportunities, and opportunities for large ensembles as well. Receive evaluations from the finest musicians, have a press interview, be featured on our daily internet TV show, receive certificates, medals, and a video of your performance, and have opportunities for many other awards. Applications are currently available on our website. Don't miss out on your opportunity to present your music on this world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performances.
Absolutely, and Carnegie Hall has been a really wonderful stage. I've performed there recently, and I can tell you it's such an exciting, amazing experience to be able to be a part of the New York art scene. And so for anybody who wants to audition, it's not too late. If you missed this May deadline, we have another deadline, which is June 1st, and opportunities are coming up to perform with many orchestras worldwide in the 2024-25 season, as well as the 2025 and 2026 season. There's just so much coming up, and so please remember to check our websites for more additional material, as well as what you may need to apply with, the audition and the costs of everything. We hope to provide as much value as possible. Not only do we have performances in Carnegie Hall, but also really, really excitingly, there are more and more orchestras that are part of our season. And so if you'd like to play with orchestras or record something with orchestra, this is your chance. And this is a short video to show you what is coming up and just to introduce you to the orchestras as well as the conductors. as you can see, this is our season that we've had so far, and we have many more coming. So this is our upcoming season for everybody to have a look at. This is really, really cool. We have an opportunity to collaborate with many orchestras around the world, some of which are really, really exciting, including the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. This is a recent sign up, and we've recently signed with them. This is a really wonderful. We have the Lviv National Philharmonic as well. The Slovak Symfonietta in Slovenia. I mean, like all these different European orchestras as well as ones in the US. All over the world, as you can see, you not only get to perform with these orchestras, but to collaborate with these conductors, which often, more often than not, especially if you ask some of our jury members, you'll find out that playing for conductors usually leads to some really good opportunities in the future. We have not just the US and Europe, but also in Asia. The Philippines Philharmonic Orchestra is a part of our season. We have our Western New York Chamber Orchestra, where some of our performers are very familiar with that, as well as the Philharmonie Bohuslava Martinu with Gevorg, Sargsyan as part of our jury today as well. Very exciting. And there's just so many different kinds of orchestras that are going to be part of our season. We've just come back. Wonderful, one of our directors, James Welch, just came back from Cairo, and it's been such a wonderful experience to have incredible musicians play and be part of our season and get these opportunities. So they audition to us live, then they get live feed from the judges, and the judges will select soloists to play with these orchestras. And these conductors are really, really special. As you can see on stage, we've got some really great people lined up. And so let's pivot now to introduce the judges for today's auditions. This is really exciting. We have 4 incredibly esteemed judges. Let's start with Dickran Atamian, also known as Richie. His career evolved as a very exciting young artist and a fantastic pianist who won first prize in the 1975 50th anniversary Nuremberg competitions at Carnegie Hall at the age of 19, the youngest person ever, along with William Capell and Robert Mann, to win this kind of competition. Really exciting. Subsequently, he's performed The Rite of Spring, compiled and arranged by New York composer Sam Raffling. Richie, you've done some incredible recordings that everybody can find on your website, and you currently are the founder of Prize Attractions and headquartered in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this is what you do now to help artists along with their career and connect them with the right people.
It's good to be here. Yeah, I didn't found it. The real Jack Price founded it. I assumed his identity in '84.
Okay.
And I'm now, I guess, Jack Price. he's not alive anymore, but
I know.
In absentia.
Yep. But you do respond to both, I guess, Richie and Jack Price.
Well, I will respond to several names. We can't say all of them right now, but
No, but yeah. Another time.
I have to be very careful about that.
Fair enough. Let's also introduce our next judge, Margaret Wasik, a wonderful, fantastic pianist who's been hailed by the American Music Guide for her versatility in many styles that emphasize chameleon-like transformations. Margaret is a amazing trailblazer in many ways, having been an author of 2 books, a composer, a recording artist. Her second recording, Piano Works, was chosen as Gramophone magazine's best new releases from North America. She studied in New York University with amazing legendary teachers and composition at the Juilliard School with Stanley Wolfe and Dan Coleman. Some of her music has been featured in films like The Lesson, and as a performer, as a soloist, she's been amazing. Margaret, so lovely to have you on the show. I want to also just emphasize that you've also created your own show based from this prayer piano session that you have on Sundays, and you're doing incredibly with it. There's this amazing transformation of a different show that premiered in the fall of 2022, and now you are recording a new project of Bach's music called The Courts of Heaven. This is so cool, and welcome to the show.
It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here, Chris. Thank you for having me. And yes, I love the platform that you all have here because you're really taking the classical music into the next era. And it's an era of collaboration. It's an era of not scarcity mindset, but one of overflow and people cheering each other on, and the support is amazing, and the artistry is beyond belief. So I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. I really love what you said about collaboration. And I think especially with the ubiquity of the internet, the fact that we can connect with so many people all over the world and just make music and to hear each other's music is really, really special, I think.
Incredible opportunity. I wish this existed when I was a student.
Yeah.
It's just, I hope students now will take advantage of this kind of opportunity and realize that there is something for everybody, and it's really, really special.
Truly.
So next we have Navad Andresian, who is a wonderful conductor who has studied with some of the greatest legendary people from at the Conservatoire in Paris, with Pierre Devaux, Jean Fortney, and Sergio Shelibadaki, and conducting contemporary music with Pierre Boulez and Peter Elfus. You have done so many incredible things in your life, including being the artistic director and chief conductor of the French contemporary music ensemble Polychromie and the Polychromie Festival. Navad is a contemporary music interpreter and promoter for 50 years, and her love for music and travel has combined to be not only the conductor at the Armenian National Opera from 1993 to 1995, and as well as the chief conductor at the Tianjin Symphony Orchestra from 1998 to 2003. Welcome to the show, Navad. So lovely to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much to invite me. I enjoy really very much this meeting, and I agree with Margaret. And when we were young, it doesn't exist. So it was very, very hard for us to get concerts, to get contracts. Well, I learned my profession with amateur orchestras, which is very important.
Yeah.
And then slowly, by slow, I passed to professional orchestras, and here I am. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your wisdom and everything.
I really enjoy it.
Well, we have a lot of fun with you, that's for sure. Now let's introduce our fourth guest judge for today, Gevorg Sargsyan. Sargsyan is a Singapore-based conductor and music director from Armenia, recipient of the Sir Georg Solti Award. He has been guest conducting in various venues around the world with different orchestras, including the Czech Chamber Philharmonic Orchestra, the Armenian National Opera and Ballet Productions, the Jakarta Symphony Orchestra, the Pescara Chamber Philharmonic Orchestra, among many others, coming for us from right now. He has since moved to Asia, combining many different disciplines and conducting and lecturing. And recently, he has been appointed Artistic Director of Music Hubs with the Ministry of Culture in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Gevorg, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Chris, and great to see everyone. I'm looking forward for some serious music making and listening to it. Not so much to judge, but to enjoy and comment, and there's always room for improvement for everyone, right? So yeah, thank you, and let's get it rolling.
Let's get it rolling indeed. So thank you, judges. We have two incredible pianists and two incredible conductors ready to listen to these auditions. So without further ado, let's get started. Our first performer for today is Anastasia Chin, who's playing harpsichord for us, presenting Louis Caperon and Jean-Henri Danglebert, Prelude and Suite in D minor, performing Allemande, Courant the first and second, Sarabande, and Pasakai Damid. Without further ado, here's the stage. What a performance.
Incredible.
That was Anastasia Chin playing Louis Couperon's Prelude and Suite in D minor. Let's have Navat first. Comments?
Yeah. Well, she is really incredible. Yeah. She has a real, very good conception of French Baroque music, Couperin. She makes the difference between, what can I say? She's making the difference on the interpretation of these notes, small notes, and the left hand, it's very clear, it's transparent. This is very good. I feel that she managed really French Baroque music. I like it very much. But there is one thing. Normally in the French suite, Couperin suite, movements as prelude, allemande, courante, sarabande, passacaille. Normally, tempos must be different, not similar. I think, Anastasia, you should be very careful about the tempos, different tempos. For example, for the passacaille, we didn't feel that it's a passacaille. Passacaille, it is slow. And the sarabanda it's like this, going up, going up, going up. So it's your choice of tempo has been to be seen one more. But otherwise, there's one other thing which was very good. Your hands doesn't show us that you think Baroque music as a romantic musician. You just play in the instrument and direct. Means that there is no, how say in German, it's Luft auf. Yani, there wasn't. It's very good, really very good. You understand what is Baroque music. Congratulations, it's really very good.
Thank you so much, Navat. Next we have Margaret.
Well, I was just blown away, Anastasia, by your polished performance. Truly, your command of the instrument. You make it seem so flawlessly easy. The ornamentation was so clear. And I thought that the Passacaglia just had such an incredible build-up. So it was so wonderful to hear the momentum growing. I would love to ask you how you came to choose the harpsichord. It's so fantastic. And I think it suits you so well. In your personality comes through and you bring this music really alive. In terms of comments, I only have really just one general, which is perhaps thinking in between musical episodes and gestures, maybe just a slight longer breath in between, just so that the listener could feel the next phrase coming and anticipate the next one, or at least on the video. Sometimes the sound lingers in the air, so perhaps just a clearing. But again, that might have just been because of the transmission. But oh my goodness, truly professional, polished, and absolutely stellar performance. Congratulations.
Thank you, Margaret. It's very, very great. Richie, next.
Yeah, well, first I have to confess, I've heard Anastasia many times, and not only is she a superlative harpsichordist or forte pianist, whatever she plays, she has one of the greatest Chopin barcarolles I have ever heard. That was the first thing I heard her play. I can assure you she's an incredible pianist as well. Very, very sensitive and understands. It's rare you find a good barcarolle, in my opinion, and very rare. It's Yeah, it sounds like a boat song, like all the time, you know. It's like, but she makes it just so voluptuous, really. Her playing in that. In this, I loved the various movements she delineated. I thought quite well. Her technical mastery of this instrument is just. I mean, it's like her fingers to me. Even if I close my eyes and listen to her, it's like they're really a means to an end. You know, she doesn't just play brilliantly and everything is perfect, but it brings off the piece. I think she brought off the pieces, just all the movements extremely well. I've heard this before, but I'm not, you know, I'm certainly not a Baroque expert in any way. You know, I don't know about her in terms of whether or not the mordents and the trills and this and that were exactly what should be at that moment. But I can tell you this, it was very convincing. And I rarely like the harpsichord. I thought, yeah, there's a joke about it which will remain not said here. But I think it's really exemplary playing and deserves to be heard. And usually I would just, yeah, even Leonhardt just, yeah, you know, it's a big snore fest. You know, I mean, this was incredible playing, I thought. It really, my ears were just right with it. I thought it was wonderful.
Thank you, Richie. Yeah, that's amazing. Gevorg?
Hi. Well, lots of things were already said. I will just add a couple of things. Obviously, it's a very interesting and rare opportunity to listen to a solo harpsichord. We usually hear harpsichord in within the orchestra as a basso continuo, right? And this is where I wanted to ask / comment in terms of like the way of performance as a soloist versus as a as a member of the orchestra, chamber orchestra, or baroque orchestra. There must be a little bit more of how to distinguish difference, I guess. Yeah, I was listening more and was watching more of a person who is playing as part of a baroque ensemble. That was one of the things. And I also agree with Novard's comment regarding the tempi. I believe tempi were rather too similar for such a different things, between Passacaglia and Courant and all. But other than that, obviously, I enjoy very much, and I ornamentations, articulations, and I mean, you almost play it like it's a string instrument, and that's quite something. So yeah, joining everyone to say congratulations and keep it up.
Yeah, incredible legato playing, even on a harpsichord where everything is plucked, and I think you're right in that.
True.
So string playing, there's a beautiful sense of legato. Thank you so much, Anastasia. I hope to see you very soon on our stage. Thank you for your performance. And now we will just pivot to tell you a little bit about what these auditions are for. Auditionees are auditioning to play in Carnegie Hall, as well as be a part of the colORCHESTRA season, and really excited about the next years of colORCHESTRA orchestras that are part of our season. The amazing Wroe Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Grzegorz Nowak, is one of them, along with many other incredible opportunities, which we'll talk to you more about and we'll tell you all about. Please check our websites now, as you can see, for updates, as well as finding out what you may need in terms of repertoire. Different orchestras may have different requirements, and we hope to include as many people as possible for part of the show, as well as our chance to play in Weill Recital Hall at Carnegie Hall. So without further ado, let's introduce our next contestant by the name of Francesco Tropea, playing on piano, playing Johannes Brahms' first piano sonata, Opus 1. I believe we're hearing the whole entire piece. There's 4 movements. First movement is titled Allegro. Second movement is in Andante, with a little note called nach einer aus deutschen Minderlieder. Third movement, Allegro molto e con fuoco, and fourth movement, Allegro con fuoco as well. Please enjoy. Wow. Bravo. That was incredible. We have Francesco here to listen to the judges' comments. Let's start with Gevorg.
Sure. Hi. Thank you very much for this, Brahms. I mean, we rarely hear this kind of repertoire anymore. Is my microphone okay?
I can hear such a echo.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay. Sorry. Technical.
Okay, go.
How about now? Sounds
Yeah.
good. Anyway, sorry. Thank you again for the Brahms. It's been ages that I listened to the sonata again, and before the audition, I went to download the scores, and I found the very old kind of score with the very interesting markings, and I was, going through the score with you while you were playing. A lot of interesting things, very clear lines. I mean, I'm not a pianist, so I will let pianists to to comment on that. But from my side, I must say this thing: if you were playing the sonata like you were playing a full concerto with orchestra, I mean, there was this massive, kind of amplified sound from your piano, and that was really interesting. I will just point out one important thing in scherzo that I really liked, that because this particular scherzo has a lot of articulations. It's not just scherzo, but it has a lot of the legato things in it as well, and all that. So it was very nicely executed, and with everything else as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much, and I'll pass the baton to pianists, perhaps to comment more on a pianistic side. Thank you so much.
Let's have Margaret next, please.
Oh, Francesco, I have to thank you for such a kaleidoscope of feelings and expressions and absolutely dazzling performance. It's as if you got under Brahms's skin. And this is a piece that seems so embryotic and episodic. It's almost like you take the listener behind the writing of the music itself, where you can hear the compositional process and the pauses as Brahms is kind of working the thematic material out. I thought your playing was so technically so sound. I thought you had three hands at some point. It was absolutely mesmerizing. Yes, and you captured really a lot of the passion, the pathos, the stillness, the silence. There was a beautiful moment. Among so many beautiful moments, but I loved the way you brought out the lower voice towards the end of the first movement. It's like this lower voice came in from, like, where did it come from? And the way you started the slow movement, it had this serenity to it. In speaking of the slow movement, there is this 30-second note in the theme of it. I'm just going to quote a very great pianist who said, make the fast notes even faster. So just to maybe give that just a little bit more jolt, it'll just lighten it and move it forward just a bit more. But overall, it was just absolutely, again, like I said, a kaleidoscope of moods, adventure, emotion, and absolute dazzling virtuosity. Thank you so much, Francesco.
Thank you, Margaret. Next we have Navat.
Even I had some problems with the internet connection, but my first impression was not as you say, Margaret, but just the contrary. I am not comparing what this sonata is telling us with a symphony, Brahms symphony, but I'm comparing it with his chamber music pieces. I wanted here more Brahms color, which means inside of the piano and powerful, not light. It sound for me, it's my personal opinion. For me, it sounded like a French music, but this is German music. So I think you should think more German than Italian. I don't know if you are Italian.
Thank you, Nova. We'll have you continue on in a little while. Richie, do you have
I
your...
was hungry and thirsty.
We'll come back to you, Navad. I think we're having some issues hearing you, but Richie, can you give your comments, please?
Me? Mm-hmm. No problem.
So far, so good.
Okay, so far so good because my headphones went down, but I heard every note very clearly, you know. This is a complicated case. First, let me say, Francesco, I know you're playing the Rachmaninoff Etude Tableau. The A minor was absolutely stunning. I previewed a lot of the preliminary recordings, and you were advanced on that etude. It was really stunning playing, very idiomatic and satisfying. This was different. Again, beautiful pianism. There's something strange going on with my picture. I don't know what this is, but okay. Well, I would say pianistically, it's very facile. It's exemplary piano playing. You're extremely musical, very, very competent, beyond competent. Can everyone hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, fine. But, well, wait, let me finish with the compliments. Everything's in its place. Too much. I mean, this is a symphonic work. I'm sorry, it is not a piano sonata. This guy, if you've ever heard William Masellis play this sonata, he was famous for it. It's on RCA Red Seal. I suggest everybody listen to it. It's phenomenal. You have to capture the Brahms sound. It's not deep enough. You're not in the key enough. Everything's very Lisztian sounding. It's too light. It's too academic. I could go on and on and on, but it's easily fixed. It's easily fixed. One of your problems is harmony. You're hearing the harmonies in a strange way that make everything either super fast or like in the slow movement, dee-dum. You don't know what note goes with what note. Like Margaret said about playing the fast notes fast in that slow, dom, dee, da, dom, kind of like the arpeggione. You went, da, dum. You know where I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, why don't you tag that note to the downbeat instead of delaying it with a slow 16th or 8th, whatever it is? I'm not sure. I haven't played this sonata. I've taught it, but I can't remember. F minor, I know better. But I know this piece pretty well. And that really doesn't have much to do with it. Even if I was listening to a Brahms symphony of Gevorg or somebody, I would have, that reference point would be the same. It's either Brahms or it's not Brahms. Okay. In my opinion, this was a very pianistic Brahms. This was piano playing. We are musicians first. And another thing, everything was absolutely in dull, strict time. There was no variation whatsoever. And I mean, you can just listen to it back for yourself. In terms of metrics, ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, bum. First of all, in the first quaver, ba-bum, you need to wait on that note before you go on. Now, it doesn't have to be an audible wait. It's got to be a mental wait. Dee-dum, ba-da-dee-da-da-dum, bum. not da dum da da dum da da dum dum. I mean, what is that? This is not Brahms. It's not really music. It's notes. Okay. That second theme in the first movement could be. It was gorgeously played. I have no problem with your playing. I have a problem with what you have to say. You say it eloquently, but there's not a lot there to say right now. And I think you could easily solve this problem. Here's a solution for me. One, the last movement, I'll take the last movement, for example, it's way too fast. I mean, you're playing it like, I'm preparing for the Clyburn competition or something, and make sure it's faster than anyone else's and more accurate than anyone else's, and that kind of. That's not what it's all about. That's why these competitions are so important. Yum ba 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 yum da 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 dee. First of all, you should get your tempo from da 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 dee da 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 dum bum bee da da dee da 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 dum bum 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 da dum dum bum. What's all this rushing? You didn't rush, but what's with the fastness of that movement? Doesn't prove a thing. It's, what it sounds like? Someone playing the Wallstein. At the end of it, you say, well, I don't think I want to hear anything in C major anymore. It's too much C major. It's not, you can do better, Francesco. I know you're playing. Okay, I'm telling you honestly, I believe in you. I think you're a fabulous pianist, but you're shortchanging Brahms. First of all, he's my favorite composer, so I'm highly offended. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking around. You've got to feel it. You have to feel those harmonies in your heart. They have to change your heart. What did Jesus say? I hate to be a preacher, but he said, the New Jerusalem will not be built on civil tumult and war and pestilence. It'll be built on a change of heart. You need to change your heart. I don't mean religiously. I mean musically. Say something with that opening. Dum da dee da dum bum. Dee dee da dum da dum bum. See how you got to move those moving notes to the end so that they don't sound all the same. My major criticism of this performance is everything sounded the same. It doesn't need to be. You're too good for that. Okay, enough said.
Thank you,
what
Richie.
I thought. Yeah, and stay in the key, okay? Quit listing, make it sound like Franz Liszt all over the place. I don't think even Liszt should sound like that. It should sound deeper in the key. Okay,
Thank you, Richie. Thank you, Richie. Navar, we're going to try you again to see if we can get some of your comments and feedback.
Dickran told what it needs, but I will not repeat myself. When I played Brahms chamber music, I never thought that I'm playing piano with the instruments. Sound needs to
Navar, so I think we're
20s.
still
This is German
we're still
music.
having a little trouble. Okay, we're still having some trouble with hearing you, Navar. So we'll have you give your comments to Francesco later. Thank you, everyone. Judges, this is amazing. Francesco, I hope you're able to at least see what the judges think right away. And I really enjoyed your performance. I hope to hear you again soon. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon on the stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Bye.
With that, thank you everyone for joining in. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're joining us, please leave us a comment. We've just heard an incredible performance of Francesco, of Brahms' first piano sonata, performed by Francesco Tropea, and we are just getting started. We have a whole weekend plus Monday of incredible performances. This is session 2 of our Carnegie and colORCHESTRA auditions. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on in this whole thing. So the point of these auditions is so that finalists and winners are able to perform in Carnegie Hall, which is a really prestigious stage, a prestigious venue, and we want to project and propel the careers of incredible musicians all around the world so they can perform in big stages like Carnegie Hall. On top of that, we have auditionees who are trying to get a spot playing with orchestra. Now, as we mentioned a little bit before, we've already had so many incredible performances with orchestra this season, but we're just getting started. There's so many more coming up in the 2024 to 2025 season, and more to come. One incredible highlight, of course, is the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra with conductor Gevorg Novak, who is phenomenal and has recorded so many times. If you're interested, please check out our websites. There's so many different opportunities available. We accept people from many different disciplines, and if you're a singer, if you're a composer, if you're instrumentalists of all different kinds, if you we had somebody previously who performed Indian classical music, if you're of an Eastern classical music as opposed to Western classical music, we also really encourage you to sign up, encourage you to be a part of this, because we want to help you grow as a musician. With that, we're going to go to our third auditionee for this session, and his name is Ethan Liao, composer, and we were watching a compositional presentation of a piece he wrote titled He Wishes for the Cloths of Heaven. Please enjoy. Oh, that's really lovely, Ethan. Thank you for joining us today. So the judges can also give you their responses and their feedback. Gevorg, we'll have you first. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for showing us this score. I really enjoyed the harmonies and obviously, you know, the lines, and it's really very, very nicely done. And you can tell there's a lot of emotions and there's a lot of thoughts put into the music. Now, if I can comment on one thing, it will be very, very practical, because I work with contemporary music quite a bit, so I will allow myself to bring this forward for the composer to think about, Ethan. In practical, right now we heard it as an a cappella, so there's no piano accompaniment clearly. In real life situation, there will be a lot of confusion in between singers about the intervals. You know, it's something that your software will play perfectly, and you will have it in your head perfectly. And I will listen to it and be amazed by the very rich, that palitra of colors that you bring on. It's really nice. It's very rich, very, full of bold colors that I personally enjoy. But for the singers to be a cappella, it might take a really long time to master this, and even a quarter tone mistake will kind of ruin it, right? So you don't want that to happen. So this is my comment coming from a world where things happening with real people instead of the software. And other than that, it's just very, very beautiful, and it's very heavenly written. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Richie?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was really beautiful. I love harmony is my favorite thing of all the elements of music. And to me, it dictates policy. And I would say that was very dictatorial, if
Cool.
there is a word. Yeah. I mean, it's really it. I think it speaks from the heart. I'm kind of amazed by it. It was really very pleasing. You know, when somebody says he gave a pleasing recital or he gave a, they don't realize how great the word pleasing is. It sounds like a cop out, like, oh, it was okay. It's not. It's. I think it's a real compliment. It was thoroughly. It's short and sweet, which a lot of orchestras like. You know, they don't. I mean, a lot of people like their attention spans are zero now. So that was perfect length. I really appreciate that. I'm getting old too, and I can't concentrate on very much at one time. So that was great. That's better than sitting through the Resurrection Symphony, I can tell you. I mean, it's not as not as powerful, but I enjoyed it very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Richie.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
We have Margaret, please.
It was lovely, Ethan. I so enjoyed also the heart behind it. And it had this ethereal quality to it, and with the lyrics. And just one thing in terms of the SATB arrangement was very light and very flowing, and perhaps that is just where you intend to land it. But if you'd like to perhaps thicken the sauce a little bit by adding a bit more texture, perhaps studying Bach chorale writing and seeing how a lot of times instead of mimicking the same line, he'll choose a contrary motion passage, anything that moves in a different direction or perhaps in a different rhythm, just to maybe accentuate the line, would just help to broaden the scope so that there's just a little bit more substantiality in between the voices. But that's again, it's up to your intent. You know, perhaps you want it to have this very angelic quality, and so if that's the case, you've achieved that. So anyway, well done.
Thank you. I'll definitely take it into consideration.
That's very insightful coming from a composer. Amazing. Thank you, Margaret. We're going to try Navad next.
Yeah, I hope you will hear me.
Yes, hope so too.
So I enjoyed really very much, but I want to say that this is not sang by a choir, but a synthesizer. Mm-hmm. So the sound is synthetic. So of course the sound will, the synthetic voice sound is empty, yeah. But as composition, it when it will be sung by a choir, even with these light harmonies, will I say, in heaven, harmonies in heaven, will sound full, because human voice has vibrato. It depends which kind of vibrato and how big vibrato the choir will put in the sound. It will be very, very good. It will be very, very good. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Ethan, do you have any comments or anything to ask the judges before we move on to the next? It was just really beautiful to hear your composition.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh.
Yeah, I have one question. After finishing the piece and presenting it to other people, I noticed that I might want the bass to have a little bit more pronounced a line, because I think right now, as it is, it's not easy for me to hear the entire bass line throughout the piece. And as a string player, I always appreciate whenever the cello comes in and you can really hear the thrum of the cello at the bass. And so I was wondering, is there a way I could maybe bring out that line without compromising some of the other integrity of the other three voices?
Good question. This is a great question. Yeah, you can do that. For that, you need to change the position of voices. You see, you change position of voices, and you add basses as human voice. Yeah, that time it will sound very full. It will not sound as Bach and you change just
We're good. Nava, we're having a little trouble hearing you again. We might have you write your comments to Ethan, and that way you can get her response as well. Margaret, as a composer, do you have anything to add to that, perhaps, or an answer to that question for Ethan's?
Oh, I was very interested in what Navat was saying about reversing the voices and allowing the bass to come in as an additional voice. I would also say that in those long held notes, that would be maybe a moment, Ethan, that perhaps you could broaden the bass and not have it overwhelm as the other voices are holding the higher notes. And I think that would be a nice time to have the bass have like that entrance point and foundational energy come up. So yeah, but otherwise I think I love just the texture that you brought it to. So yeah, so perhaps adding just those little spots. It's funny, sometimes I think in composition we think that we need to add a lot. Maybe it's only a couple of moments where you could add a little bit more bass presence, and that'll be enough to just strike the perfect balance.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So Navat's gonna type the comment to you, but I think her internet's working a little bit better now.
Yeah,
Navat, do you
I'm
want
writing
to?
for it. Yeah, I'm doing. I'm sorry. There's a problem. I don't know what is this problem.
No problem at all. Well, we'll make sure there's a way for Ethan to get your comment.
I'm writing Ethan.
Thank you so much, and we'll read it out, or Ethan, you will receive it just in the private chat. Thank you so much, judges. This is such a lovely, interlude between these big pieces we've been hearing recently. Before we move on to the next contestant, we're going to give a big thanks to our judges. Ethan, once again, thank you very much for your time. Contestants today are auditioning for a chance to have their music played in Carnegie Hall or by musicians at Carnegie Hall. This will include Ethan Liao's composition you just heard, and we have had a wonderful Brahms sonata. We've had some great music on harpsichord. This is just the beginning. If you'd like to check out more of our schedule, please check our YouTube or just see the schedule of what we have. There's many more sessions to come. This is session 2 of many more. These amazing musicians are auditioning for a chance to have their music played or to play in Carnegie Hall, as well as by orchestras around the world. It's really quite a privilege that we have to present these musicians and propel them in the world stage, to link them with conductors and orchestras around the world. And hopefully these connections continue to foster and develop, and they feel nurtured, that they get opportunities, and a lot of the time they get to audition from the comfort of their own home or a hall they're familiar with before going into the world stage. So the websites are down there. If you have a chance, please check them out. There's a lot that we're doing, and we also send out email newsletters, so if you'd like to be in touch, just write to us and we'll put you onto our newsletter. One last thing, if you're watching from YouTube or wherever you're watching from, please give a comment. Maybe you liked the contestants' music a lot, or you disagreed with the judges. Whatever it is, please write down. We'd love to have your comment on, and we'd love to have that interaction, because it really makes us feel as if, you know, a lot of people are not only listening but engaging with our program. Now, next we have another pianist playing Beethoven Piano Concerto Number 4, the second and third movements of this concerto, Opus 58. His name is Han Xiang-Shu, and I really look forward to this performance. Please enjoy. Bravo. Such a joyous concerto. Thank you so much, Han Xiangshu. It's wonderful to hear you. Let's start with Richie.
That was absolutely stunning performance. I would say the slow movement was absolutely transcendental. It's one of the most glorious pieces of music ever written, and it was just, I don't know about you, but it transported me. It was absolutely appropriate. Every sound he made. Well, to me, a great artist is simply this. This is the definition for me. One who makes the right sound at the right time. That's it. You don't have to say, oh, it's all this other stuff.
Because it's so easy.
It's very simple. Whoever makes the right sound at the right time, think about it.
Of course.
Space between the notes, blah, blah, blah. Depth of key, angle of descent, the whole ball of wax. This guy absolutely has the piano figured out. And it's beautiful. It's spontaneous playing. It's it was improvisatory. The slow movement was as operatic or free as a bird as you could want. And I really like the interruptions from the orchestra. I like that maestro. She was she wasn't with him all the time in the last movement, but he's demanding there a little bit. But it was interesting. It was an interesting interplay. He covered it very well. He's a good piano conductor person because he covers when the conductor screws it up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Gevorg, right? Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying any conductor screws it up, but there are conductors that are simply not listening to the soloist. And this guy was listening to the conductor, if you noticed.
And vice versa.
Yeah, just hold on. I'm not done yet. Okay. All right. So look.
It would be long, huh?
No, it's not going to be a long time. It was absolutely perfect playing in many ways. I would say in the last movement, he could go a little bit slower and it can be much more of a, I hate to, by the way, Gevorg or Navard, is that a rondo?
It's a rondo. Yeah. Rondo.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Sorry, Chris, you too. Yeah, it's a rondo. So therefore,
knows it.
Therefore it has to, it was a little pushed, but not rushed. He never rushed. But the overall tempo for the harmonies, it was exciting to hear it at that tempo, But I felt in the trills, he could have filled those trills out so much more. Instead, they were sort of like the most you could do at that tempo kind of thing. I prefer a more dance-like, complicated theme than what he presented. It was a little too straightforward. It was a little too driving. But all in all, great. And also, I thought it was interesting where that interplay between the orchestra and the piano, where they go dun 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 dun, he diminuendos every one of those left-hand passages. I've never heard that before. I remember most pianists just clobber the end of that phrase, and then they cut it off. But he went, and I've never heard that before. And that's an interesting alternative interpretively to that passage where the right hand goes and he went if you notice at the end each time. Pianistically, it's just beautiful playing without that karate chop Yuja Wang approach. It's just absolutely cannot stand her playing. Because everything's the same and it's all loud and fast and whatever it is. This guy is an artist and he has a thought process and he has something I would say critical to say. He has something critical to say, especially in the slow movement. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Richie. Next, Gevorg, a conductor's perspective.
All right. Well, conductor's perspective obviously goes first and foremost to the orchestra, and since this video was performed with orchestra, but it is about the pianist, so this is obviously where I have to talk about the connection between pianist and orchestra. First of all, I will agree that orchestra was a little bit hearing pianist more than listening to the pianist. I mean, there's this distinction between hearing and listening to. But at the same time, I would say orchestra was not bad at all. It was a good orchestra with a really rich sound, and it was appropriately accompanying, and it was nice to hear this orchestra. Certainly, it was a good. Now, my comment with the pianist will be more towards sometimes being more present, because it's very easy to get, especially in the second movement. It was beautiful and all that, but you get carried away with the music, which we are all guilty of in some ways. For lack of better word, we have to control our emotions a little bit to be able to project these emotions more consistently and all that. So, but technically speaking, I will not venture into techniques of the piano, but as a Beethoven, as an interpretation, I quite enjoyed it, including the orchestra accompaniment along the way. So yeah.
Thank you, Gevorg. Amazing. Margaret?
Oh, in a word, elegant. It was a extremely polished performance and very present. I agree with Richie. Very artistic rendering in the slow movement and in the fast as well. There was a translucent quality, which is both a compliment and also, I would say, for my taste, too Mozartian for Beethoven. I think that the sound could have more depth and intensity to it. As I watched his hands, they floated on the keys. It was a touch, I think, that would be perfectly suited to Mozart, Chopin. But with Beethoven, it's like color when you paint. You want a lot of intensity and oil color. There's certain composers that just demand that. It's part of their DNA. And if we had just more of that and more like getting to the bottom of the key, the richness of the tone came out a bit more, I think it would have been just like the perfect complement to that poetry and expression. So in a word, beautifully played, polished, elegant, and I'd love to hear more.
Thank you, Margaret. Let's try you, Navat.
Well, I agree with Margaret. It was pianistically a very light Mozart color. Beethoven needs to go more in the piano. Yeah, it's not Shostakovich or Brahms, not so inside, but we can use the word powerful fingers, but it's not like that, because the power of fingers coming from the hara, it's not coming from the body. Yeah. This is the one thing that I wanted to say. And I just a question, Chris. Is this orchestra is from Tianjin Juilliard School Orchestra?
I'm not sure. It's possible. It's possible. I'm not sure, because he's a Chinese Canadian pianist, but I don't know where he studied. It doesn't say in his bio where he whether he went to Tianjin or not. Yeah.
I want to say something between the dialogue with orchestra and piano. Yes, when he and the orchestra will come in, he's giving the departure and is waiting, and it's too long. Yeah. But what I liked in this dialogue, that they are hearing, listening each other, and completing. And I wanted to say to the pianist that you must congratulate the conductor. She is very good. She's very good. And what I liked in this connection between piano and orchestra, the transparency of tararam, pararam, pararam, pararam everywhere. Yeah, it is very good, and you never hear it, even with great conductors, because it's like this. Yeah, the piano is head and the orchestra is back, is behind. You don't hear. This is Beethoven. Everything must be heard in the details, in the transparency, in the perspective of the sound, and which makes Beethoven color. So congratulations, it is orchestra was very good leaded. And what about the pianist? I will say again, it needs much. You see the gesture. There is no word for this.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is a word. What is it?
Oh, sure. There are many words.
Okay. So.
Well, no, I totally agree with you and Margaret. It was a little on the Mozartian side.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't know, it was really, as they, who said it in Rain Man, it's really sparkly. You know, it was very sparkly. I liked it. I don't know. This guy, David Shute, his name, he goes by David too. I know this pianist. It's just, you could go either way. He doesn't offend me with that light. I wouldn't play it that way. I'm not of that persuasion. But the point is,
Navad, do you want to finish your thought first?
Finish your thought. Navad, by all means.
I want to finish with something very important. The third movement, tam, param, param, pa, pa, pam. This is a dance. Yeah, in the color of German dances, it must be played as a dance because it's very light.
I know, but you just sang it. You just sang it not like a dance. You're driving it, which is what he did. I think it's too driven. There's not enough space. Bum.
No. Wait.
It's too driven. It's too driven, my dear. Sorry, everybody drives it.
Richie, I'll have you comment after Navad's finished her thought. Navad, can you finish what you're saying, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to finish. Is in the spirit of dance. It is not a real dance, yeah, because it was composed and invented by Beethoven, but he brought these colors of dances, these tempos of dances around him in the village of Heiligenstadt. So this is very important. It was written on 1805. So it is really, there is folk music. Yeah. It must be think like that. Not classical, like a classical piece.
Okay. Thank you, Navad.
Sorry.
No. Everyone is allowed their opinion. And Richie, do you want to finish your thought now with what you thought?
Well, I would just have to say, I don't really care how many times Beethoven went to the bathroom in his life. All this stuff about Viennese chocolate, it's all baloney. I mean, I think music is music. Chocolate is chocolate. And 1805 is 1805. What does that have to do with the price of oranges? I mean, come on. Music's all the same except for one thing. You know what it is? Stylistic differentiation. That's the only difference between the Rococo and the Baroque and music antiqua and Gregorian chant. And you can talk about structure all day long, but it's stylistic differentiation which separates all of these periods, like Impressionism, Expressionism, 20th century, modern, and progressive. I mean, come on, there's all kinds of stuff. But what I'm saying is organic. Again, we have Gustav's word. Think about how you would conduct this. Gevorg, back me up here. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Give it some time, for crying out loud. What's this thing about driving your truck into a wall? First of all, let's get to the music. There has to be space between the notes, and the note values have to be preserved. I'm sick and tired of this stuff. Okay.
So now
he didn't get dreamy in the slow movement. That was one of the most. If you notice, the first statement of the slow movement was about as fantastically perfect as you could have. The first statement, there was grandeur, there was mystery, there was everything. There was nothing wrong with that. Nothing. He didn't get lost. He wasn't lost at all. He knows exactly what he's doing. The only thing I would say is I agree with Margaret and Navart. Absolutely. The last movement was a little Mozartian. And even the slow movement might have been like you could have said it was like the F sharp minor movement of 23, you know, the A major, that movement. It was similar. It smacked of Mozart, but this is a very talented guy. And also,
no doubt.
Yeah, and not only that, I'll say something else about him. He's marketable. He's got this Radu Lupu kind of look to him, you know. He's like mysterious, you know. And this Nehru outfit and the hair and he's got the whole thing going, babe. It's really good.
Good thing we have you, aka Jack Price, to help
it's a good thing. You mean
right?
You mean the protector of standards? Yeah, right.
Well, there you go. Exactly.
There you go.
Well,
yeah.
thank you, judges. This has been really good. I mean, if only we had David Shu here also to add in to these thoughts. But thank you so much for your playing, your performance, and we are going to go into our next auditionee. This will be going to be our final act of this session number 2 for Carnegie and colORCHESTRA Auditions Finals. We are really privileged to have the Blackbird String Ensemble performing for us the Elgar String Quartet, Elgar Introduction and Allegro Opus 47. They are here with us, and we're really looking forward to it. The stage is yours, Blackbird String Ensemble. Take it away. Very nicely done, Blackbird String Quartet. So we're going to have our judges, Gevorg.
Hi. All right. I hope you're listening. Okay, great. Thank you for this. Obviously, this work is not written as a quartet, and that's probably why there are some gaps and all this in everything. But thanks for your performance. I didn't hear this piece for quite some time already, so it was interesting. Look, if I can be the wet blanket here, I can just point out a couple of things that it can improve going forward, and but otherwise it's pretty nice. Look, I I understand there are some things with intonation and all these things. That things aside, as a concerto, as a if you're auditioning this as a concerto, right? So imagine when it's a full orchestra, but each of you are playing a whole group behind you. Like, for example, I don't know, viola or first violin, you are playing alone, but in fact you are playing as a leader of a whole entire group, right? I noticed some sort of bowings sometimes that were quite ambitious, and some bowings that were probably needed to be looked at in terms of like coordination with other members of the orchestra and quartet. It'll be interesting to see how it will sound with a full orchestra, with in this case. But that was one of the things I noted. Another thing was that when you come, I mean, first violinist, you really have. Sorry, I don't have your name specifically, people. You do have the command, and I can see that you kind of lead the group, and this is important, and it's really now I can see how well you all of you know the music, and it really transcribes into confident kind of playing. Here and there, those intonation things, these are technical things that I believe are just matter of time to improve and not something major. Yeah, phrases, dynamics, some interpretational things. I would really prefer to see a more richer colors and polyphonic things. But that being said, well done, and thank you for your performance.
Thank you, Gevorg. Lots of really good insight. Margaret?
I am just congratulating.
Oh.
Am I okay? All right, sorry. I just heard this like massive.
Yeah.
Was that me? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I applaud. Just this work is such a complex work, and that you guys navigated this with a sense of real confidence. And I would love to know your story, how you met, how you all came together, and how you chose this piece. I'm reading a book right now about Elgar and his contribution during the time of World War II, and just fascinated by the whole topic. So this has been just such a joy to listen to you, and I wish you all the best success. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. We're going to have Richie next.
Yep. Well, I played the Elgar piano quintet at Marlborough with Michael Tree and some weirdos. I didn't like that piece at all. So this piece struck me the same way. I just don't get it. I'm missing something. These spaces, and it sounds like the avant-garde meets Rambo or something. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry, man. I just don't get it. I think you could have chosen some rep. By the way, string quartet repertoire, probably nobody knows this about me. They think I'm a piano jock, but I think it's the greatest repertoire of all the repertoires. I'd rather listen to a Beethoven cycle. I don't know if you've heard of the Orford Quartet. They're fabulous. Canadian group. They're disbanded now. Or a Bartok cycle, or Brahms quartets. I mean, Schubert, But you could have picked something to probably show you off more, right? So this was like very venturesome repertoire for you guys. yeah, I'm not really getting it, so I have to claim the, what do you call it, the fifth, you know, on this. There are some problems with, I don't know if the fifth is right, but the intonation problems bothered me, I have to say. I mean, I think that has to be worked out. Uh, Probably, Robert Mann would say two of you play together for a while and then three play together. I don't know. I don't know what you would do as a quartet. I, I've only played with quartets. I've never talked to them about what they do to solve problems. All I know is the quartets I know, they all travel on different planes and stay in different hotels. The members do not get along. I hope you guys get along. You look like you get along. Yeah, you guys look like you get along. But yeah, there's some what's the word? Some remedial work that needs to be done here. I don't think I can criticize the space between the notes here because there was a lot of space. Yeah, there was a lot of space. I'd have to see the score. I don't know if Gevorg, do you have the score? Margaret, do you have the score? I don't have the score.
No.
Yeah, I mean it's just beyond me, man. I don't get it. But Elgar sometimes, except for the Enigma variations, which I like very much, these British composers like Britten and Elgar, they bother me. They really bother me. I prefer their cinema and their theater. Yeah, like Hopkins and Clive Owen, and yeah. I mean that they're great actors, and their directors are Peter O'Toole, all that stuff. But this composer thing, the Brits. Well, there was Handel, Greg, but he wasn't really English, right? He was German. Yeah. He was a citizen of London. That's different. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, this is not dial-a-joke, but I don't know what to say. I guess for once, I'm tongue-tied,
Not very often does that happen to you, though,
Yeah.
Richie. We're trying to try Navad next for some comments.
Yeah. Good. I will insist on intonations. It's very important. Not sound, intervals, accords, unisons. When you play all together on one sound, it's not together. It's not, intonation is not exact. When a new section begins, it's not clear. It's
Murky.
something, yeah. And I think you should see all together, forget the orchestra, as you play as quartet, you should see the score and read together and to try to find a sense of the music. Elgar wrote something, yeah? But if you don't give a sense of this music, all these silent parts will appear something stupid, but it is not. It is not, because it makes part of a total piece, a complete piece together. So you try to give a sense and imagine what you want as you want. Imagine a space, imagine geometrical forms in the space, yeah, colors in the space, but do it. Because what I hear now, for me, yeah, you played notes, but there's a sense. So if you give the sense, if you go through the sense and go the other side of the sense, it will be very interesting. And I think you can do that.
Awesome, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Navad. Amazing. Well, Is anybody from the Blackbird Ensemble want to ask a question to the judges or have any comments about the comments?
Awesome. Thank you for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Hope to hear you again soon. Wow, what a really
you.
interesting piece. Thank you very much. Well, judges, this is the end of our second session. It's been quite an experience. A lot of really good music and playing. What are your thoughts, Richie? How was the session for you?
Interesting. You know, I mean, it's always interesting. I mean, I thought yesterday's session was spectacular, and in a lot of ways, this one was too. But I was thinking, yeah, it's like, it's really in the eye of the beholder. You know, it's kind of like what's some people's caviar is other people's garbage, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right,
I mean, it's just, it's hard to really put your finger on some things. Like with the Brahms sonata, to me, this was, you know, I felt it was too academic in general. Very well played, all that. But, you know, look, they all sound the same at that point. You know, it's like, I want to hear something different. I want to hear something that someone has to say. I want them to say it fabulously, but more important is the intent. You know, we've talked about this before. What do you intend to do with the music? Not what you pull off successfully. I mean, yeah, it's great to have success, but what's more important is what's in your heart. What do you intend to do? And sometimes what you intend to do is very difficult to do physically.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the problem, you know, and you know, this whole thing of who's good, who's bad, these contests and auditions, I think it's like I say, I don't like the gladiator style. I like this very much. I like this format. I think it's a perfect format. You know, you learn a lot as a judge, you learn a lot as a contestant or an auditionee or whatever you want to call them. I think it's a learning process, and that's what's really good about it.
Yeah. Margaret, you've joined us more recently. What are your thoughts on hearing these musicians sort of online on these live auditions, and you're able to give that feedback to them right away?
I love the whole format. This is my first time, and it's been such a joy, such a pleasure. I'm amazed how good the sound quality is. I was a little bit wondering how it would be to hear all the nuances. And with that being said, I also know how difficult it is to mic a piano, and how a lot of times the sound comes out more tinny and metallic. And so it's so hard to render a tone, especially through airwaves. And I think a lot of times that goes also into the assessment of a performance. And I was just taking that into account as well, because sometimes it's the hammers of these modern Steinways are very tinny sounding. And so like for repertoire, like Brahms, for instance, it's, you know, it's really hard to pull off. Anyway, but that being said, I am just amazed at like where these people come from. I would love to know their story. I mean, even the last quartet, I would love to hear how they found each other. How did you form? How did you decide, like in the midst of all the things that are going on, you know, and they could be doing, they sit around and they practice Elgar music together, like, you know, right? So I would love to hear the story, because each and every one of these people has probably like an amazing life story and just amazing performance. So I'm blown away. I'm wowed.
Yeah, well, then that's part of our season 2. We actually we invite some of these musicians to be a part of the show, and we actually get to talk to them and interview them, and hopefully we can have the Blackbird Ensemble on and ask them the questions you do, and maybe we'll have you on as a fellow host, and you can ask them these questions too.
Oh gosh, I have so many questions. Thank you.
That's the whole job. That's the job. Gevorg, I want to ask you. You've been recently. You had some musicians play with the orchestra with you, and you've had these auditions last year, and now you're back to perform. What's that journey been like from meeting them online to getting to collaborate with them? Yeah.
That was quite a thing. I mean, I've always been the guy that is not entirely online. Online is amazing, but I kind of need the offline connection as well, with people, with music, with orchestras, with soloists. So, and yeah, a couple of weeks ago we concluded this I would say colORCHESTRA tour. We went to Egypt, we worked with Cairo Opera, we went to Czech Republic, worked with the Martinu Philharmonic Orchestra. Both are good orchestras, amazing concert halls, very interesting people. And importantly, we work with the soloists who were auditioned and selected through this very platform. I mean, Dickran was there all this time, and he would know all the people. We also did a couple of days of very intensive recording sessions in Czech Republic. And this, aside of music, this gives us, sort of me at least, an opportunity to meet the people from the screen in flesh and blood. And this is everything. I mean, honestly, it doesn't nothing change, nothing compares to this feeling where you actually are on the stage doing music or recording or whatever, or just a conversation, but being in person. So yeah, I think this was quite a journey. For today, I see this as a potential of that experience as well.
Exactly.
For offline experience soon. And that's why I listen to people with that in mind, that how will they do in real life and real performance situation, and with orchestras perhaps, and I must say it's very interesting, it's insightful. I learn myself quite a bit of things, and also thanks for the fellow judges for their comments. I guess we all have things to learn from each other, and I'm the first in line. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Gevorg, for your humility. We all have lots to learn from you as well as a wonderful conductor. Navad, to end our session, I want to know, I'm curious, what are you doing these days? Are you still conducting? Do you have upcoming concerts? Where are you based?
I'm based in Armenia.
Okay.
Since 5 years.
Okay.
And before that, I was traveling around the world, conducting as guest conductor, many orchestras, different orchestras. And I agree with Gevorg. It's direct relations, human relation is very important. But for me, this meetings, this judging process is very new. And how can I say? I'm telling things that I say to my students, because many of us need to be a guide, to have a outside ear, huh? Someone who can hear and who can guide them.
For sure.
Very few things, because it's very few things will help musicians to think, to experience, and to find a way, their way, own way. We are just helping them. And when I speak, when I say few words or few phrases, it helps me also to remember many things that I experienced it with different orchestras. And I'm experienced it. It's
wonderful.
And the other thing which helped me very much to really master classical music and romantic music is that I pushed my possibilities to the contemporary music.
I see.
And I analyze and I conducted
everything.
Well, a big number of pieces, world premieres, and analyzing contemporary music and going inside of that, the sound, the silence, the space, relations between time and space, and many other parameters learned me to better perform classical and romantic music.
I
That's
see. That's
true.
very insightful.
It's
Yeah.
something true. Yeah.
It's the whole breadth of the timeline. It's not just one period.
Yes.
It's a lot.
No,
Yeah,
no,
the
no.
whole time. Thank you
no.
so much, Gevorg, Margaret, Navad, Richie. It's such a pleasure to have the show with you. I want to give you a big thanks. I'm going to tell people about what else is happening in our program, and then we'll thank you all once again. So everybody who's tuning in, if you have liked our program so far, we're almost reaching our 3-hour mark. Please give us a like, subscribe for more programs like this. We have a lot more auditions coming up tomorrow as well as on Monday. But for other programs, including what I mentioned before, interviews with musicians, music managers, educators, we've had such incredible and inspiring people. Recently, I interviewed the Bella Music Foundation for the Blind, and those musicians can really play. Holy moly. And what was amazing is just this, the breadth and the depth of our music industry. There's so many people doing amazing music all over the world, and it's such a pleasure for me and our fellow hosts to be able to put on these shows. And so please check us out for other programs. I want to remind everybody we have a Beethoven show, which happens every Thursday and Sunday. We are going through a documentary of the entire Beethoven symphonies, narrated by the incredible director and conductor Lawrence Rapchak. And he's such an incredible educator and narrator of what these symphonies contain, or the musical, historical, as well as the personal context behind the pieces. And so for all these programs, please check our website as well as our YouTube channel. We also have to give a big thanks to collaborators, people who have supported us. And this list is getting bigger and bigger. We used to fit all of them in one card, and now we have to go through many different cards because there's so many people giving wonderful opportunities to young musicians and developing musicians who are out there working hard, but also really trying to do incredible things, and we want to support everybody. And so this brings us to wanting to give a big thanks to all these people, but also to invite people to our team. I want to give a big thanks to people who are a part of our team who do such incredible work. These people are upholding not only the amazing standard of audio you hear, but also video, as well as making sure the show happens super duper smoothly. For this and joining our show or being a part of something that we do, please check our websites because we have a lot of amazing things. I want to give a big thanks to everybody for joining in. We do stream on many different platforms, whether you're joining us from YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or many other different places that you see on the screen there. Please interact, give us a like, share with us your thoughts, any comments you have. It will really help us in terms of our algorithm, as well as we understanding what more we can do to make this an amazing experience for everybody. With that, I want to bring our judges back and thank everybody. Thanks everyone for being such a great part of the show. I look forward to our future interactions, and until next time, thank you everybody and see you next time.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye, everyone.
See you all. Bye.